Myra, Sister Myra
Yes.
Moss. Welcome back to the show.
Well, thank you.
Well,
Always glad to be back, brother Rich.
indeed, indeed.
Yeah.
Today. When did spring start? Yesterday was it?
Well, they say spring start yesterday. I still go by the 21st.
Mm-hmm.
So today, but also
Why
the
you go
first,
by the 21st?
I mean, because sometimes you see them stretch it from like the 20th, the 19th, the 20th,
Mm,
21st, 22nd, 23rd. So rather than trying to, keep all that in mind, I just always feel like the 21st is what I look at.
indeed.
Um, that not only the spring, first day of spring, but this is the first day of Aries. So
Oh,
we're welcoming Haru's energy to the table.
Aries. That's my
And
Aries. Remember I tell you Aries,
yes,
Aries.
yes,
My
I'm
pops. That
really
was my
excited
pops.
about that. I'm excited about that. This is really our true, new beginning,
Mm-hmm.
the new year, our new year. And, I'm really excited about Aries coming in because it is the spiritual warrior,
Mm-hmm.
deals with spiritual warfare, and it's in line with everything being wrapped up, on the physical illusion end of
Mm-hmm.
things, and now a new spiritual energy dealing with warfare, counteracting
Mm-hmm.
all the things that has not been so good,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the ninth since the 1900s, because that's the number for collective alchemy. So we've been under this collective alchemy, and we've been under the sacrificial struggle half throughout the 1900s,
Mm-hmm.
and now we're stepping in the opposite balance of that, where it's
Mm-hmm.
time to come back in spiritual reward and spiritual empowerment. So this is marking a new beginning where we're now stepping up to a new spiritual empowerment, you see. So,
Excellent.
yep, that is very, very. That's why I got my red on, because it's
Oh,
fire element.
indeed.
So the red for Aries, and this new spiritual warfare. Another thing about that is Pisces. What we just left
Mm-hmm.
yesterday is the sign of the final death. Where Scorpio is death and rebirth, Pisces is the final death, and Pisces is also the sign of the illusion. So I'm putting that to mean the final death of the illusion.
Excellent.
Yes, that
Excellent.
certainly is. Certainly is.
All
So
right. We about to get started, family. Everybody's still coming in the room. Family, make sure you like the video. Remember, I always tell you that's very important. Make sure you like the video and make sure you share it. Tell your friends and family we are live. They will definitely benefit from tonight's show. All right, let's get to a few ads, family. Then we're going to get the show started. Once again, thank you for joining us. We got the Queen, we got the Oracle with us tonight. Don't miss it, family. Do not miss this, whatever you do. I see somebody said that earlier they was in the gym on the treadmill. I forgot your name, brother, but I seen it, and I appreciate it, brother. Wherever you at, they trying to catch this show, so that's what's up. Let's get to a few commercials and then we go get started, family. All right. First and foremost, I want to give a shout out my brother King Simon, one of the best when it comes to numerology. Text him your full name, date of birth, 347-496-1022. He also has a course on udemy.com, an introductory course. Check that out and you'll get more information on his additional courses. Family, make sure you also check out Black Magic University. That's magic spelled with a K. That's my site that I got my workshops on, and we're going to have physical products on there as well real soon, family. So make sure you get well acquainted with the Magicians University. All right, family. Besides that, I got to give a big shout out. I'm getting ready to open up to businesses to promote again. And I got a commercial. I want everybody to do commercials this time, family. So make sure you text the number. Why my thing ain't at the bottom? Where's my thing at? Yeah, make sure to if you're interested in advertising, text promo to 646-760-7806. So you can text promo to 646-760-7806. Family. A couple of y'all already reached out. I'll be getting back to everybody soon to get y'all ready for April. All right. I want to hey Sister Mom, my mother actually wrote a children's book. She
oh,
passed away in '07. but
Yeah.
she wrote a book before she passed away, and my sister recently got it published. So
Wonderful.
yeah, actually last year she got it published. So I'm real proud of that. And I want to show the family the commercial. This is the commercial for the book. If you haven't seen it, I just got it last week. But yeah, family, check out the commercial for the book.
Hey there! Had a bad dream? I have dreams too. Some parts are scary and some parts are fun. Always remind yourself it's only a dream and everything will be okay. I had a dream about being in a forest too. Check it out, my pet Petey was with me. Order your copy of Kayla Petey and the Forest on Amazon today.
All right, make sure y'all go to Amazon and get that Caleb Petey and the Forest family. And like I said,
Um,
if you're interested in promoting your products, text promo to 646-760-7806. Let's get started, Sister Myra. Let's get started. All right.
all right. And you're the best person when you want to promote something. Let me give you the list of, I'm on Shopify, and
Okay.
they keep a list of everything. I mean, they keep account of everything.
Mm,
And the people that are buying from my website, the people that are scheduling, let me give you the list of countries from
mm.
your program.
Oh,
We
yeah. I
got,
mean, yeah. I love to know that. Who's watching? Yeah.
we got the US, of course, at the top,
Mm, mm,
UK, Canada,
mm,
France, Australia, Mexico, Trinidad,
mm,
Tobago,
mm,
Bahamas, Kenya, South Africa,
mm,
Japan, Germany.
mm.
These are all the places that are scheduling consultations.
Wow. Wow.
Did you know your outreach was that extensive?
Yeah, I didn't know Germany was watching. I knew
Yeah, well,
Kenya was watching. I knew South Africa. Germany, that's wow. I didn't know that
yeah,
before.
yeah,
That's
that's the
dope.
last one that came on, Germany. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to live in Germany. That's funny.
Oh
But
yeah, how was it out? How was it out there when you was out there?
oh, it was, I like Germany pretty good. You know, my stepfather was in the service. That's how come we got
Okay.
to travel a little bit. And
Mm,
I kind of like Germany. It kind of reminded me of home. People are nice, but
mhm,
I was on the base and everything. So, but it was a good experience. Yes, it was. Uh-huh.
okay. All
But
right.
so I know we're doing the Tarot today.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So
the thing about it is that, unless you're into the esoteric side of things, you either think it's evil or you think it absolutely makes no sense that a person could shuffle some cards and then tell you,
yeah,
about yourself, about your energy, about your potential future and everything.
yeah,
So, this is a new paradigm that we're entering in. This
yeah,
is something that you taught for many years, but I feel as though a lot of people are just now resonating with the information. So it'll make a lot of sense right now to people that didn't even appreciate it before. They might appreciate it now. So
yeah,
I think you gave me a reading many years, 2005. And
yeah.
I know I was like, damn, I got to reach out to Sister Myra. So talk to us a little, give us a little introduction on, is it tarot or tarot?
I mean,
Is
I
it,
guess whichever way,
yeah.
your spirit tells you to say it. But I always say, I go back and forth.
Mm,
Tarot, Tarot. I go
mm,
back and forth. I think they're more familiar with the Tarot.
mm,
Um,
mm,
that's the term that's most familiar.
mm,
Um, but like I said, what we need to do is learn how to trust what we get from our own spirit. So,
mm, mm,
however it identifies it to you is the right way. you
mm.
know, that's what you have to go by. And, like we were saying earlier, um, this is, we're entering Aries. It's a wonderful energy. It's a new beginning and a whole new level of reality. Um, and where things are going to start taking more of a spiritual connotation. So,
Mm,
um, but yeah, the tarot, I did find a definition that I kind of vibe with. I'm going to read that. So,
mm, mm,
it kind of describes, um, it says here, the tarot is a series of visual images of ancient wisdom in the form of esoteric teachings. Hidden in the symbols, this teaching can be deciphered by using the right brain, intuitive mind to read the energy of the images on the cards. And see, so the thing is that that phrase, the right brain, is very important here. Um, because I had went and looked at some comments, after one of the presentations we did,
Mhm.
and there were a few people debating the issue
No one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it.
that I was using the Gregorian calendar for, the 222222 series. And
Mhm.
so I just want to come on here and stress that if you're not going to be dealing in your right brain, you are not going to be able to follow
Mhm.
what I'm putting out here.
Mhm. Mhm.
This is just not a left brain endeavor,
Right.
which means, the masculine detail, logic, and reason. And it is time for us to kind of supersede that. I did deal with the Gregorian calendar at the Hammett Summit, which was over 20 years ago. I thought I had put that, issue to rest, you see,
Mhm.
because my premise is that um, we're holistic people. We are the creators. We energize according to what we perceive, to be real.
Mhm.
So um, when I talk about being a holistic, that's inclusive of everything.
Mhm.
Everything is inclusive, and whatever perspective you want to, look at, is the perspective of what you're going to create from. You're
Mhm.
going to create your own reality. No one or nobody has more power than you do to create your own reality. And
Mhm.
that comes from what you perceive, just like you were asking about tarot or tarot. It's just how your spirit reveals it to you. And
Mhm.
your spirit is the one who's going to give you your own language of symbolism. The
Mhm.
spiritual language is symbolic, and you cannot be literal. The people that are questioning the Gregorian calendar, I suppose if you asked them what sign they were or when their birthday was, I bet you they would have an answer based on the Gregorian calendar, you see. So,
Mhm.
and that's because they created that reality, from what they perceive to be their birthday. If I look at January 8th, it's my birthday, I'm going to live that. I'm going to open that energy up in my reality, and
Mhm.
that's how I'm going to create my reality from that perspective. So let's stop arguing details, you guys. We're supposed to be superseding that. We're supposed to be getting into that right brain, which is conceptual,
Mhm.
because that is the spiritual language symbolism. And
Mhm.
if you're not ready to expand and look at it symbolically, then um, yeah, you're just not going to be able to follow,
Mhm.
the information. So
All
uh,
right.
I wanted to stress that because that is what we have to do. We have to look at that right brain. Um, so let's see here. The tarot, it consists of 78 images. There's 78 cards in
Mhm.
the tarot. And I break them down into three categories. I know most of them will describe two, but I go with you have what you call the minor
Mhm.
arcana, and then you have the court cards, what I call the court cards. And a lot of systems will connect those to the minor and the court cards. But I like to put a separation between the minor arcanas, which really deals with the mundane issues. You see,
Mhm.
everyday mundane issues. Then when you get to the court cards, you're usually dealing with certain people. And we're looking at the royal people. We're looking at the royal family. So the court cards consist of like the king, the queen, and we have the prince and the princess, or they sometimes call the page. So those are the four categories that that we look at when we look at court the court cards. Then we have what you call the major arcana cards.
Mhm.
And the major arcana cards are, I'd say there's about 22, 22 major arcana cards, starting from zero, which is the fool card, all the way up to 21, which is the world card. And, And the world card I've been bringing up quite a bit, as especially when we talked about the 22,
Mhm.
because the world card is the final card of the major arcanas. Is so, and that is number 21, and that is the one where all your past lives comes together in culmination and
Mm.
fulfillment. You see, that's what the world card is indicating, which is how we were able uh, how I was able to identify the 21, the 12, 21, 21
Mhm.
as the culmination peak,
Mm.
you
Okay.
know,
Okay.
of everything now coming together for fulfillment, which has then propelled us to that 22 that we were talking about, which is spiritual mastery. So
Mm.
that world card, that's the 21, it's the 22 of major arcana cards. Now, when we go back to the minor arcanas, um, we're going to be looking at four suits with the minor arcanas. And the four suits consist of what we call the swords, and the swords are, now we're going to compare this with the a deck of cards. You see a regular deck of playing cards. So when we look at the swords, we're looking at the spades. You know, when we look at a regular deck of cards,
Mhm.
they're comparable to the spades in a regular deck of cards. Then we're going to look at the elements. You know, I'm an elemental person,
Mhm.
all about the elements to me. I think that's the ultimate, the four elements. I don't think you can get any higher than the four elements when you're
Mhm.
looking at spiritual energy.
Mhm.
Okay. They represent the four members of the royal family. You see, the air element is the father component, father spirit. The fire element is the sun, you know, SON individual and SUN collective. But the
Mhm.
fire is the sun, and then we have the or like in the tarot, that would be the prince. You know, the air element would be the swords, and
Mhm.
then we have what we call the heart card, which is actually the cups, and that deals with the water element. So that's going to deal with the mama component, the
Mhm.
love aspect, you see.
Mhm.
And then we have the pentacles, and the pentacles deals with the earth element, which they call the diamonds in the regular deck of cards. So those are like the four suits of the minor arcanas, you
Mhm.
see. Um, I didn't really do too much with the minor arcana cards because, like I said, those are pretty much the mundane level, you know. So when I did my tarot readings, I always just use the court cards and the major arcanas, because
Mhm.
the major arcanas is going to what is going to tap you into the spiritual energy, the spiritual connotation. So, but you know, that's how you get a gist of what those suits represent. Once we get past the minor arcana, then we go, like I said, to the court cards. That's where we deal with the king, the queen, the prince, and the princess, or they call the page. And I already told you how that applies to the four elements. To me, that's the highest of vibrations. Remember, we're talking energy vibrations, people, energy vibrations. That is what makes the whole universe go round, is
Mhm.
energy, and
Mhm.
how you can take your energy when it comes to what you're energizing in your vibrations. So those are the three levels we're looking at when we're looking at the tarot deck. We're looking at the minor arcanas, and
Mhm.
that consists of like 40 cards. And then we look at the court cards, which consist of the 16. And then we look at the major arcanas, which is 22. 22.
Mhm.
And that interesting because that is the spiritual master number.
And we in no, we in the year 222. So
Yeah,
yeah.
22. That's what I'm saying. Everything is symbolism. We
Mhm.
got to look at everything symbolic because that's how you connect the dots. With spirit, you have to connect the dots. You see, in other words, you get one thing will take you to the next, to the next, to the next, till it comes full circle, and you see the whole picture. Because anytime you're looking at a part of the whole, that's the illusion.
Mm, mm,
Spirit don't show itself until it's ready to complete or fulfill itself. So,
mm, mm,
and that's that two halves make a whole. The balance of those. The ultimate harmonization is when you're balancing those two halves,
two halves, yeah.
180 degrees, the other 180 degrees for the full 360 spiral. So, when you look at the tarot, I mean, that is mainly what you're looking at, all those symbolisms. Honestly, this is why I had to give up doing the tarot readings because I'm a Capricorn and I'm very, very thorough.
Uh,
And when you look at the tarots, there's so many things that it opens up in the cards. I mean, you're looking at numerology, you're looking at the elements, you're looking at, the figure, the whatever picture or image, as they mentioned. So there's just so many things that you can look at in the tarot deck. It would take me, I mean, already it takes me 3 to 4 hours to do a reading, but
whew,
it would take me even longer, when I was doing the tarot deck because of the many different aspects you can look at with the tarot deck and go into that, you see.
let me
So,
see if I could share an image because I'm
okay.
trying to, because I
Yeah.
want people to get a visual.
Yeah. And I had my cards. I don't think I left them out here.
Yeah, my computer's not letting me. Damn, man. For some reason, it's not letting me share my. Okay, I think okay.
Got it?
Chrome has lost. Well, I'll try to get that together.
Okay.
In the meantime, how did they even come up with these images, like the fool and these symbols? Like, how did they even decide like this will determine somebody's reality? How did we come up with this? Is amazing stuff here.
Right. It's like I said in the beginning when I read it, it's an ancient, this is an
Mm,
ancient system of divination that has been left, to us by the ancestors. When we came more into the physical reality of things, in order for us not to lose touch with our spiritual information, these are the type of images for divination that was, given to us, by the ancients so that we can continue to have a connection and be able to tap into that spiritual information. And the thing is that it's all about your own spirit. Let's see, because I got this part where it says, "How does it work? How does it work?" Um, the universe is about energy vibrations. That's what makes the whole universe go around. That's the whole um, thing of the universe is energy vibrations as well as balance. That is the key to the universe. So this is about tapping into spirit, your own spirit. Remember, that's the first relationship, partnership, or spiral we have to complete is one with our own spirit. So it's not so much, that they left this system that can just give us personal information symbolically that applies to everyone. It's about you and your spirit and how your spirit is the one through your energy vibrations connects you to the energies of the universe, you see,
mm,
symbolically. And as you connect to the energy of the universe, you're tapping into those symbols or that symbolic language of
mm,
spirit, you
mm,
see.
mm,
So it's the symbolic language
mm,
that is opening up the information as your own individual and personal spirit, guides or leads the way to tap into the vibrations that are going to be pertinent for the message you need to receive. Did that make sense? I know that got
yeah.
a little cryptic there,
No, no, definitely, yeah.
but
Yeah.
your own spirit is the one that will guide and maneuver, when it comes to what vibrations it wants to open up for you symbolically in order for you to receive the message that is pertaining to who you are in your energy from the highest level. You see.
So if you're sitting down across the table from somebody and you're doing a reading from them, their energy is going to affect the shuffling of the cards. Because
That's how I do my readings. I'll start off, I'll say, I'm going to start shuffling the cards. You tell me when to stop.
oh,
Yes.
that's how you do it.
That's
'Cause I
how
don't.
I
Okay,
do it.
okay, I don't remember.
And
Yeah,
I've had readings where they'll say something like, just say your name, or,
mm,
you know, uh, remember, we're dealing with energy vibrations. You
mm,
know, that's something that's going to go beyond our five senses. And that's what people have a problem identifying with, you see. But you have your own energy. Everybody has their own energy, and their own spirit is their blue. Just like we talk about fingerprints, you
mm,
know, nobody has the same. Well, you have your own spiritual energy, you know, that is unique, and it's your own blueprint to who you are when it
mm.
comes to tapping into spiritual information or higher level information. So, yes, it is dependent on how your spirit can guide and maneuver, you know, to express
I hope my children see in me a fighter, a person who's going to step up.
the symbols of energy that pertains to the message it wants you to receive. Every time I do a reading, I start off and I tell them, this is not my message.
Mm,
This is your spirit's message. I'm just the messenger.
mm,
Okay. I call myself the reporter for the cosmos. And usually that spirit will validate that fact, you see, because it'll bring up something, you know, as I'm reading, as I'm interpreting, it'll bring up something that I don't have a clue, you know, and I'm dependent on the client to help, you know, say something like the house comes up. And
mm,
I'm like, well, it doesn't fit the context of, you know, I don't know how this house fits the context of what message I've been delivering. And then that's when usually the client will step in and say something like, oh, yeah, I had a dream about a house last night. Or, you know, I just moved into my grandma's house, you see.
mm, mm,
So that is how it will expose. And what we're tapping into is a subconscious energy,
mm,
the subconscious. That is when we talk about the left brain versus the right brain, the conscious mind represents the left brain, and the subconscious mind represents the left brain. So
mm,
we're tapping into a subconscious ancient memory, Akashic records, in the energy vibration, you see, of what your spirit is opening up for you symbolically in order to connect you to the many and multitude of levels, you know,
mm.
that your vibration, you know, have access to or are a part of, you know, identifying with that energy depending on what particular message is being
Mm.
opened up for you. You see.
Does the reader's energy have to be a particular way at the time they're reading? Like, what if the reader's having a bad day? Will that affect the outcome of the cards for whoever's getting the reading at that time?
Um, not, I don't think so, not usually,
Mm.
because what we're doing is our spirit is now taking the lead here.
Okay,
And
okay.
guess what? Spirit and physical are opposites, okay?
Yes, yes.
So, I mean, so that means if you've had a bad day on the physical end, that may be a good day for your spirit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good. Hey, I like that answer. Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
You know, I always say if you take it into your hands, you tie spirit's hands.
Yeah.
You doing your partnership with your spirit, you do the maximum for what you can do on the physical half.
Mm,
And when you've reached the maximum, it's like a tag team match because two
mm,
opposites can't occupy the same space at the same time.
mm,
One has to give way to the other. So when you've done all you can on the physical half, that is when you tag your spiritual partner. You come out of the ring, okay?
yes,
Your
yes.
spirit goes in the ring behind the scenes, and your spirit will be the one that goes up into the universe, gathers the energy that's going to match the, the amount of energy you've invested on the physical half. And when it's matched that energy, that is when it's going to fulfill or complete that spiral, that 360 spiral. We can only do 180 degrees. You can only do 180 degrees on the physical half, then your spirit does 180 degrees on the spiritual half. And when we bring that together, that's those two halves completing that 360-degree spiral.
Mm,
That is how you open up the vortex
mm,
of vibration to access the higher energy of the universe. The higher energy of the universe, that's that ancient energy. That's already, that's already set. That's already there.
mm,
And it's just a matter of us being able to tap into whatever level we need to
mm,
open up the information of that energy from the universe, which is tied into who we are from antiquity, you
mhm,
see.
mhm,
So, and then it depends on the level, you see. There's a multitude of levels. That's another thing a lot of people don't take into consideration is that there's a multitude of levels. You have the individual level, then you have the couple level, you have the family level, all the way up until the community, your nation, earth level, global level, all the way up to the universal level. So there's always going to be a multitude of levels as to which how high you take your vibration. And the higher you take it, the more you're tapping into the royal level of the universe.
mm.
And, we're energy transmitters as well as receivers.
Yes.
So it's about what you send out because remember my most famous saying, spirit moves inside out,
Mhm,
not outside in. What you're sending out is what you spiral back.
mhm,
So, and now more than ever, we have to be very, very, very conscientious about our thoughts now, because that's how we maneuver spiritually through the thoughts. So, when we're thinking pessimistic, we're going to energize pessimistic.
mhm,
If we're thinking optimistic, we're going to energize optimistic. And it all starts from within. The first prerequisite, what I tell people is the universe is not trying to save the world right now. It's only trying to identify who qualifies to step up as a new ruler. It's going to be a
Ooh,
new spiritual rulership that's opening up for the
mhm,
Aquarius age.
mhm,
Okay. So, who steps up as a new ruler? That is what is being identified now.
mhm,
And there's two prerequisites that the universe judges you on as to if you qualify to step up as a new ruler. Number one, you have to be secure
mhm,
internally. Earth and water are internal. Earth and water are feminine, internal. That's where we get into the subconscious domain, the antiquity. Uh, the mama is the water component who represents the ancient of ancients. So the mama tells us our ancient lineage. Where did we come from? Our ancestry. That is her domain of rulership.
mhm,
Father spirit is mama's soul and father's spirit. Father's spirit tells us where we're headed. How do we move forward and fulfill our spiritual purpose and destiny?
mhm.
And so that is so we have to tap into where we came from, the foundation, and how did we move that energy forward in order to fulfill our spiritual purpose and our spiritual destiny. You see.
Myra, this is important. I just thought
Mhm.
about this. What
Yeah.
would you tell the young queens out there? And another question after this, I probably ask is why are women usually tarot readers? And
Yeah.
I ask that. Maybe that could be the second question. But the first one is, what advice would you have for people out there, the queens or whatever, that they may be interested, their spirit may resonate with the information, but because of the conditioning, their logical mind may say this is evil, this is witchcraft, or this is just I don't know about this. How this
Right.
sounds like I don't this sound like some devil stuff. What advice for you would give to those sisters that's watching right now, that's on the fence of this?
Okay. Uh, unfortunately, we have been we've come through a serious programming. The illusion. Remember, I said one of the things I'm most excited about is Pisces represents the illusion. Pisces represents the sign of the subconscious. And it's also where they created the illusion. In other words, you probably heard me say before that they put a bridge between us moving our spirit out from the soul or the subconscious, and they're moving their spirit out from emotional doubts, fears, and guilts. That's how we've been programmed to stay at a lowered vibration, in this illusion, in this matrix, you see. We've been usurped from our true parents. I mentioned righteous Father Spirit and Mama Universe. Those are our true universal high level parents. But we've been usurped from them. We've been removed from our connection. We've fallen under the auspices of the father of illusion, the Ma of tricks, the matrix, and the Ma of terror, materialism, which has programmed us in false values to this illusion to keep our vibration at a low ebb so that we stay vulnerable to attack, in other words, you see. So the people who are afraid of this information or who are concerned about it, if it sounds, like devil worship or evil, and that I'm afraid to say came from the subconscious programming of the illusion. One of the first ways that they programmed us subconsciously in the illusions through fears, doubts, and guilt, religion. Religion was one of the first tools that they used. And it is the religion that is telling you, oh, this is wrong. This is going against, this is where the guilts come from, because you can't lift your vibration in doubts, fears, and guilt. Those are the three things that will undermine your spiritual vibration rising to that highest level. Okay. So they programmed us in doubts, fears, and guilts so that we don't lift our vibration to the higher levels and start accessing the royal level of the universe and start empowering ourselves. There's certain people who do not want us to supersede this illusion. And that's how they programmed us, and they're programming us daily. Religion was one of the first tools that they used. And it is the religion that is telling you, oh, this is wrong. This is going against, this is where the guilts come from, because you can't lift your vibration in doubts, fears, and guilt. Those are the three things that will undermine your spiritual vibration rising to that highest level. Okay. So they programmed us in doubts, fears, and guilts so that we don't lift our vibration to the higher levels and start accessing the royal level of the universe and start empowering ourselves. There's certain people who do not want us to supersede this illusion. And that's how they programmed us. And they're programming us daily through those doubts, fears, and guilts. Every time you turn on your TV set, you see, you're getting programmed in doubts, fears, and guilt. You may not even be realizing it. You can watch a movie you identify with, and there's a subliminal programming going on. We're bigger than this physical reality. And as I mentioned, what puts us at the top of the hierarchy is the melanin. You see, melanin is what puts us at the top of the hierarchy when it comes to spiritual energy, because not only is melanin a conducer of energy, but it also gives us the ability to harmonize energy, because you don't blend energy. And so where we have been taken away from that by those who don't have access to those higher vibrations. Like I said, they can't come up there to get us. So they have to pull us down to
Deep,
their level
deep.
to keep us
Yes.
vulnerable to
Mm,
their attack. Um, we went into the Aquarius age in 2013, and Aquarius is the sign of I know.
mm,
And why I call myself a holistic is because I don't believe in 12 individual signs. I believe in 6 axes of energy. You have to balance those opposites.
mm,
So the opposite sign of Aquarius is Leo, and Leo is the creative ruler. It's the sign of the creative ruler.
mm,
Aquarius is the sign of I know. So when
mm,
you balance those two, I know I am a creative ruler. In order to activate that rulership, if you don't know who you are, which is a higher being, a universal being, we're spiritual beings having a physical experience, not the other way around. But someone else who is not at that level has convinced us mentally, that to tap into that highest level is evil or is, a bad thing to do,
mm,
because it's bad for them because they lose control when we step up in our knowing as to who we are as the creative rulers of the universe because of the melanin that gives us the ability to draw energy from the universe as well as to harmonize that energy or balance that energy, you
mm,
see, because
mm,
two halves make a whole. If you can't balance it, then it becomes abusive, you
mm,
see. You have to balance it in order for it not to be abusive. So they're trapping us from keeping, from tapping into that by scaring us through our fears, our doubts, and our guilts, keeping us out of tapping into that. They showed you again, the movie I'm always talking about the movie The
mm. The
Matrix.
Matrix. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what that when they took Neil to the Oracle, and
Mm,
because he doubted, he's
mm,
trying to identify his power through his ego, and he doubted his power. And that's when the Oracle said, "Nope, you're not the one. I don't know what you're waiting for." And that's when she
no.
placed the sign above the door that says, "Know thyself."
Self.
That is the Aquarius and Leo axis of energy. You have to know you are a ruler before you become a ruler. If you don't know it, then that's you're not it. That's what she
Mm,
told Neil. You're not the one because you don't know
no, no.
you're not until you know it do you become it. That is the
So,
you go ahead.
so spirit.
The ancient Egyptians understood that they could use sound to reduce their weight and the gravitational effect.
Through archaeoacoustic research, we are now close being able to duplicate those megalithic temples.
Sound in combination with technology would produce gravitational effects.
If they knew the correct resonant frequency, they could have used sound in that manner.
The ancient people possibly had a way to reach sympathetic resonance with each other and with stone.
We are in constant communication with this field. When we create coherence,
sound will create geometric patterns that you find in nature.
From the electron moving around the nucleus of an atom to distant galaxies, they're all in a state of vibration.
Free energy technologies are encoded within those megalithic temples. Also, ways in which we can live in a manner that is more harmonious with the earth and will enable us to create ultimately a sustainable civilization. That's our quest and that's our goal.
Because the world rejected you, you created a facade. You created a personality, a persona. That which you believed the world would accept. But after a while, you begin to realize that even the personality and the persona isn't really being fully accepted.
Spirit tells you what you need to hear at that time. So the spirit could contradict itself 5 years later, but it really didn't contradict itself. It just told you what you needed to know at that particular
That
time.
time.
It's a deep
Absolutely.
concept. Yeah.
Because when he tried to tell Morpheus, well, the Oracle said I wasn't the one, that's what he told him. He said the Oracle told you what you needed to hear.
Hey, at one time, my spirit told me Jesus was real. And the whole Christianity, I needed to go with that. And then the further I got into that, I had to go to the next level. And I remember when even when I left religion alone, I was like, damn, why did my spirit lead me to the church? And then I understood that life is a journey, and I couldn't just jump to metaphysics.
Absolutely.
I had to walk there. You can't just go, So I had to. What was a journey? So it made me understand that life is a journey. It made me understand that like what you just said, the spirit tells you what you need to hear at that particular
Right.
time, and you got to just trust the journey. So yeah, that's
Yes,
fact.
holistic. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right. And the different levels. I did the same thing. I went from Christianity to the idealism of the Nation of Islam. I never joined the nation, but I like
Mm.
the idealism of it.
My
And
mother was like that. Yeah, she
yeah,
didn't join, but yeah.
right, right. I like the idealism of it because it's centered on black, your black power. And
Uh-huh.
then from there is when I took the stepping stone to metaphysics, and
Mm.
that's
Big
what
step.
really opened everything up. So and I have Christian clients, because I can reach them at their level.
Yeah.
It's about expanding. It's not about changing
Yes.
their perspective, because like I said, when we deal with the father's domain, the air element, that is about the father. We are dealing with the father and the son, in that half of the operation.
Mm.
There's nothing. We're not saying it's wrong or it's bad, but it had to be the foundation or the platform
Mm.
now to reflect the opposite or the balance to that. That's where we go wrong. We think that's it. That's it. But
Mhm.
it's about completing that half and then expanding the balance in the opposite half. Like I said, two halves make a whole.
Mm.
So, and you have to complete one half in order to step up to, the balance of the opposite half. You see, in order to
Yeah.
make a case for spiritual justice, there has to be a physical injustice that has not been reconciled in order for spiritual justice to come in and balance out the situation. But spirit is not going to do it so much at the personal level. It's going to fix the problem where the system,
Mm.
the system that contribute to your personal problems. That's what spirit will fix. The
Indeed.
system that contribute to your personal problem in order for it then
And
to fix
And
that.
also, I just want to give a shout out to all the Christians who watch the program. Some of the most beautiful people I've met in this
Yes.
matrix have been Christian. So I'm not judging you. I just do what I do. Y'all do what y'all do. And, if you resonate with this information, you do. But I have met some wonderful people that are still in religion. So, I'm not a follower of religion, but I know wonderful people that are. And you got to do
Yes.
what you got to do for you. So shout out
Yes.
to all the Christians who may watch Black Magic
Oh
363.
yeah. I have plenty of Christian clients,
Yeah.
and I just meet them and try to expand, their perspective. But yeah, I mean, that is, holistic. That's why I call
Yeah.
myself a holistic. That means everything is
Yeah.
included, including the Gregorian calendar.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And
Right.
whatever calendar you want to look at. But it's
Uh-huh.
all part of a whole, I mean, that's what holistic means. Everything is included. Everybody brings their own unique, creative process to the table. We've all been mastering through many, many lifetimes, in the creative purpose we chose to contribute.
Mhm.
And now the 21 is saying how we're now ready to culminate the mastery that we've been doing for all these lifetimes. This is the lifetime to bring all that mastery to the table in culmination and contribution to this fulfillment of this holistic or universal purpose. It's a universal purpose being fulfilled, okay? And we're just the individual aspects of that. And each one of us have a unique and individual creative purpose to bring to the table in contribution to this holistic evolutionary process, you see. It's an infinite process of transformation, regeneration, and evolution of spiritual rulership. That is the ultimate goal of the universe, you see. And so each one of us have been mastering, and now we're ready to make our final contribution in that. And like when you were at another lifetime, or when you were at another age in this lifetime, you know, what you knew and built on in your knowing, you know, was your building blocks, you know, for the next level, you know. Never, you know, stagnation is the problem. Stagnation, you know. I'm not a religious person but like you said, I got many religious people that are in my family. I love them unconditional, you know. And the issue is not sitting in judgment. You said the right word there. We have to learn how to love unconditionally. And a lot of people take that word unconditionally wrong. We're not talking about just taking anything or letting anybody do anything to you. We're saying when you love unconditionally, that means you don't sit in judgment of others, you see. You don't sit in judgment. That is what that means, you see. We all have a unique purpose to bring to the table, and only our spirit is the one that can give each and every one of us that guidance. You never, and you guys saw me do that thing about the hand 1,000 times. You take a hand, you put this up here, you take a hand, that's a hand, but you got a thumb, you got a index finger, you got a middle finger, a ring finger, the small finger, you got the palm, the back of the hand, the nails. All these components come together to make a hand. Okay, but each one have a unique role in contribution to the whole or the hand. And you know, if we were blending and we all blended into thumbs, how much will we get done here? You know what I'm saying? So everybody has a unique contribution to this holistic purpose. And so I can't sit in judgment of yours no more than you can sit in judgment of mine, you see.
Indeed.
It's about harmonizing energy. You don't blend energy, you harmonize energy. And when you do astrology, they have things, you know, what they call angles. That's how energy communicates with each other, through angles, which they turned into angels. But it's angles of energy and how they communicate. You have like a sextile. That's like that's a 60-degree angle. And that means there's excitement between those two vibrations, you see, that's coming together. You have what you call a trine, you know, where there's 3 components coming together, you know, through the elements. Like you have 3 fire signs, 3 air signs, 3 earth signs. That's what you call a trine. So, you know, energy interacts through these angles and how you harmonize those energies, vibrations. Spirit is a combination of energy. You have to pool energy to create spirit. You have to pool energy to create a spirit. That's why they say where more than one is called in my name, so shall I be. Father, Spirit, you see. You have to combine energy to create to have create a spirit. So that's what we have to do. We have to learn how to harmonize energy in order to come to that ultimate balance of those 2 halves in order to complete that 360-degree spiral. And that's how you open up a vortex and access the vibrations from the higher levels of the universe. And the higher you go in that vibration in the universe, the more you're tapping into the royal level of the unit.
Indeed. So, Sister Myra, give me an example. Like, let's say you're shuffling the cards. Like I seen there was this young sister. I knew her from back in the day. I forget, Paris Williams. King Simon recently told me she does tarot readings.
Yes.
And I was watching a YouTube channel, and she'll shuffle and a card will fall out, and she'll they pick that card. Why?
Yes.
What? Explain that process about, because the shuffling process seems so important. And then
Yeah.
if a card pops out, they like take that card and they like, they do the reading on that card. So break that down for me, and also
Well,
shout out to the sister Paris Williams. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yes. Whenever I'm shuffling and a card pops out, I don't usually just take that individually. What I do is I go ahead and lay out my full spread. But those cards that pop out, or if one or two, how many ever cards pop out, I always put those to the side because they're going to be significant, as we get into the readings, and we're going to be able to tie back to those cards. Those cards popped out because there was a significant meaning or message that was going to go above and beyond even what, the reading was going to tell you. So that's special. That's like, I don't know if you know astrological terms, they talk about retrograde planets, like a Mercury retrograde. And whenever I always tell people, if you have a retrograde planet, especially if you have more than one, give that person a special look, because that retrograde planet is identifying where they're coming in to serve a special purpose, you see. Wherever their retrograde planet is at, they're serving a special purpose. And what I mean by retrograde is like the planet goes forward, then it goes back, then it goes forward again, what we call a direct movement. That means it's being painted with the energy brush 3 times. As it goes forward, back, and forward again. It's getting a painting in that particular energy, 3 coats, you see. And then that means there's a special mission or a special purpose that they're here to serve through that energy, that planet, and that part of their life, you see. So that's the same as a card popping out, there's a special meaning or a special purpose that's added to, the message that you're here to deliver them.
So if you're doing a reading for me and the Hermit card pops out, what would that like, or just not, it doesn't have to pop out, but if you pick, let's say you pick a Hermit card, what would that mean for me if I'm sitting there getting a reading?
It means that you're, it's about you probably going into isolation, isolating yourself, or going internal, getting messages from within and not looking outside of yourself for others, to define what it is that you're trying, to understand about what to do or where you're going. It's about an internal thing. It's about you doing some soul searching, isolating yourself for others so that you can get a clear signal from your own spirit and not get all this congestion coming in to obscure that message, you see.
Are there negative and positive cards, or it just depends on the combination of them? How does that work?
Well, in the tarot deck particular, we do in tarot deck. Well, we do what we call reverses. That means you take maybe about a fourth of the cards, and you would reverse them in the deck, and shuffle them. And if they get a reverse card, like you mentioned, the Fool card, if you get an upright Fool card, that is, being open, being naive and open and trusting enough to follow your spirit to a new level. Excuse me. But if you get a reverse Fool card, then it may indeed be talking about you're being foolish in some area, that you're being rash and you're not rational, but you're taking some foolish actions. So that's what happens when it comes to the tarot cards and what they call the reverse cards, you see, if the card comes through reversed.
What's the most powerful card? Is there like a card that's the most powerful in the deck?
which one I've been talking about this whole time, even before now, the world card
Well,
of the Major Arcana card, number 21.
mm,
That is why I was so excited at the
mm,
22222, because that's when Spirit brought that realization to me, you know,
mm,
about the world card and why it signified the 21, you know, because here we got the 12, which is really 21, you know, the 1 and the 2. Then you had 21, which is also is the 21, and then we had in the year 21. So that was nothing but a signal that December 21st, 2021 was symbolic of the world card, where everything has come together in culmination. All our past lifetimes has now come together to culminate, you know, so that we can bring the full measure of.
The practice you are about to learn is almost never described publicly. The Cave of Brahma can activate a wide range of new powers, abilities, and states of.
Because the world rejected you, you created a facade.
Of our contribution to the table to fulfill this holistic and universal purpose that is now ready to evolve us to a whole new level of
indeed.
rulership in the universe.
Somebody's asking Sister Myra, Brother
Yeah.
Rich, will you please ask her what is her favorite spread to use?
Oh, okay. I've been using the Kabbalistic cross. That's my favorite spread. That's the one I've been really tied to. And that's a 10-card spread. That's the one I use with my, I use the fortune cards, the Tatiana fortune cards. I've been using those for quite a while now. That's what I transitioned from with the tarot deck. So that's my favorite, the Kabbalistic cross, that 10-card spread they have. The first card is the first card represents your present position. And then the second card is what energy is directly influencing your present position. And then we go to the position of what is just ahead. The third card represents what is just ahead, what position, what is just ahead for you when it comes to your spiritual energy. And I always call this the training position. This is where your spirit gives you personal training. And the just ahead period is like the next few weeks. So what kind of training is your spirit about to give you in the next few weeks to help you step up from a mundane level of power to a royal and creative level of power? That's the position that describes how your spirit is going to give you that training in the next few weeks as to how you're now stepping up out of the mundane to a creative level of empowerment. Then the fourth card of that Kabbalistic cross is the past. It's going to deal with the past, not just this lifetime. We're going to go back to your past lifetimes. This is the card that will tell you and identify the purpose that you've been working on for many lifetimes, you know, in order to bring that mastery to the table in this lifetime, in the contribution to your holistic purpose. You take that card, the one in the past, you take that and combine it with your sun sign to understand your purpose, the purpose you're here to serve, the purpose you chose to take on and contribute. So, because your sun sign, the sun always represents your focus. Wherever you see the sun, that's where the energy is being focused, you see. So
what would a person do? Like, say I get a tarot reading from you, then I get a tarot reading from somebody else, and different. Like, how do I decipher which reading was telling the truth?
no, you don't. It's all part of everything.
So,
You
okay.
bring all that is inclusive. I always tell people, get as many readings as you can, because you're just getting, nobody can give you the whole. you see.
Mm.
We got a whole universe of information to tap into, you see. And not one person can be responsible for giving you that, you see. So whatever reading you get is just another perspective that you add to the mix, you see. So, so no, it's not about, you know, competing messages. Matter of fact, when people get a reading from me, you know, they're usually saying, well, when do I come back for the next reading? When you've exhausted, you know, the energy of the past reading. In other words, when you've seen that unfold, when you've seen that message come into fruition, and now you're suckling on that, and you've got the message from that, and you're ready to do the next stage, then you come back for another reading. I'm going to use the same spread and the same cards, but it's going to give you a new meaning or a new perspective depending on where you're at. Time that you get that reading. So no, you holistic. That means everything. I mean, you can get messages. Like I said, you could be riding down the street, and a billboard can pop up and answer a question that's on your mind. That's spirit. Symbolism. That is the spiritual language. That's why you can't be left brain. You know, you can be riding down the street and a car pulls in front of you with license plate numbers, you see. And you add up those numbers. Then you're sitting down, excuse me, and all of a sudden on the clock, those same numbers that you saw on the license plates is on your clock, you see. That is definitely how your spirit is trying to get your attention. Get a numerology message, look at the date, get an astrological message. We're being bombarded with messages. You see. It's a matter of being perceptive. And you know, like the person asked earlier, or you were asking about the people, you know, who think it's, you know, a spookism or evil or, you know, that is, you know, in other words, it's like, we get bombarded with these messages so that we can understand this is not just something that's happening, you know, coincidental. There's no such thing as coincidence, you see. And it's and that's why we've been programmed not to follow the trail of those messages, because if you follow the trail of those messages, you know, it's going to open up some enlightenment to you that goes beyond, you know, what anybody else outside of you can tell you. In other words, it's personal, spiritual connection where your spirit is able to validate that to you, you know, above and beyond what anybody else would be privy to. So when you start getting those kind of messages from your own spirit repeatedly, you know, your spirit is going to be the one to convince you. I tell people that when I give them the reading, I said, I'm just the messenger. It's your spirit is going to be the one to have it sink in, you see. You know, like when you did the reading in 2005, you know, I don't even remember the, you know, the Sagittarius, you know, reference. You know, once the reading's over, I get so many, you know, I lost that, but your spirit didn't lose it. Your spirit was the one, when you moved out from my reading, that produced the results of the message that your spirit gave me to deliver to you. Not my message, your spirit's message. I'm the messenger. I tell people, and I might have said this already, but when I first started reading cards, I was very concerned about these things. I'm like, oh, spirit, how can I be sure I'm telling people the right thing? How can I be sure I'm giving them the right information? And my spirit said, it's not you, fool. Just read the cards.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Wow. Wow.
And it was the best advice my spirit could have gave me because it liberated me. I'm not responsible for the message.
At all. Yeah.
You know, I'm responsible for Now, that's where I'm a master. I'm a master in symbolism. So I can look at the symbols and interpret the message and deliver that message. But then I still need your feedback, you know. I had one guy who didn't want to get a reading. He wanted to get a reading from me, but the way I explained it, I'm saying I'm holistic. So I'm going to give you the physical half. Then I'm going to put the spiritual half in balance with that. I'm going to read the material of the card as the physical half of the message. And then I'm going to put the spiritual connotation in balance with that, you see. Well, he had a problem with that, You got to read anything? You got to read? All the spiritual teachers I went to, all the spiritual messengers I went to, they didn't have to read. They could just intuit it, I'm like, well, you probably need to go to one of those. It's going to give you a reading in the way you think it should be given. I'm not trying to prove or convince you that I'm doing a psychic thing, okay? That's not me. I'm not dealing in my ego. That's what my spirit pushed out of the way when it said, it's not you, fool. Just read the cards. Your ego gets in the way of the message. You see. I'm open. I want to deliver that message in the purity of what your spirit wants you to receive. And that has to be without anything my own understanding, my own knowing. I don't speak from my own knowing and understanding. I speak from what has been ordained to me to speak from, the authority of what has been ordained for me to speak from when it comes to tapping into spiritual information, you see. So it's not my message. It's not me doing it.
Beautiful.
And I'm not here to try to prove I'm psychic. I know what you got in your closet. I am psychic, but I'm not a personal psychic. I'm a holistic psychic. I see the bigger picture, and then I can put the individual aspects in line with the bigger picture, you see. So I look at the universe. I look at the energy, the planets, and the configurations of the planets and how that energy is coming to the earth and what that is influencing for us on the earth. And then I can take it down to an individual level when I'm looking at their individual energy and how that individual energy corresponds with the larger energy that we're being influenced from the universe that's opening up, you see.
Indeed. I want to get to some Q&A. A lot of people, we got about 2,000 people in the room.
Wow.
I want to say thank you to everybody who's tuned in. Like I always say, make the like button, family. That's very important to get this esoteric information out there to the people. Make sure you hit the like button. It helps the algorithm. I don't know how many likes I'm at in comparison to 2,000 people being here. But hit the like button. I'm going to get to some Q&A. I seen y'all been asking questions, so I'm going to have to scroll up to get to the Q&A. Also, family, it's support time. Make sure you support the individuals that support you. I got my Cash App at the bottom of the screen, and I want to put Sister Myra's Cash App in the chat right now. Myra, I need to write this down somewhere so I ain't got to ask you no more. And I can just put it up there. Well, give me your Cash App one more. Tell me your Cash App.
Okay, it's of course the $, and then it's just Myra Moss, MYRA MOSS, and then the number's 813.
813. I remember that. Okay.
And and I really want to tell now. There's some, like I told you, the international clients. Now some of them can text me, and some of them I can text back, but some of them I can't text back. Okay. And I don't know how many of them I can communicate with over the phone as well. So when I get international clients, you guys are going to have to reach out to me through my my email. That's going to be the most secure way for us to make a connection, because sometimes it's a hit and miss when it comes to the phone. So and my email is mossmyra@yahoo.com. So take the oh yeah, you got Sister Myra. Okay, so Moss Myra, it's just like the opposite of my Cash App, except for I don't have 813 and I don't have the $, but it's just Moss Myra yahoo.com. So
Okay.
I advise my international clients to reach out to me that way because it's kind of difficult and it's always not available for me to be able to get back to you through the text message or the phone call. So I wanted to put that out there as well.
Hey, before we get to Q&A from the people, Myra, what do you think about tarot card readings versus astrology? Like, are they comparable? Do you find that one is a little more accurate? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, like I told you, any way, any level. I used to do them both, as you remember, because I did them both for you. It's just one's more extensive than the other. One is going to be focused in on a particular message, you see. And always tell people the card readings are going to tap into the most prevalent issue, the most prevalent spiritual issue that you're wrestling with. And that's all it's going to deal with. I had a lady when I lived in Atlanta who wanted to get a reading on her book, but she had other pressing issues that the reading dealt with. She had to come back to get the reading on her book after she dealt with that issue. So it's only going to focus on the most prevalent issue you're wrestling with at the time. That's what the card readings will focus on. But the astrological is going to give you your overall look at your energy. You know, where were all the planets sitting at the moment and place and time of your birth, the date of your birth, all the planets, what constellations, and how did they send their energy rays that converge together to make your collective or spiritual energy. Spirit is the collective, physical is the individual. So, and that is what this is all about. We're the individual vessels that has access to, from our energy vibrations, where we can tap to through the different levels out to the highest levels of the universe to tap into the energy vibrations from one end to the opposite end, you see. And as far as you can take it as an individual vessel to that highest collective universal energy. And like I said, the four elements, tap into that bank of energy represented by the four elements, which represents the four members of the royal universal spiritual family of energy. So you as the personal physical individual, and how can I take my energy vibration to the opposite universal collective energy, you see. So that's what your astrological does. It takes all those planets that were at your time of birth, where they were sitting, what constellations, what rays did they all contribute. You have a full universe of energy within you. Your sun sign is only what you came into this lifetime to focus through in your energy. And it represents your personality, you know, your personal focus. The sun always represents focus. It represents exposure, clarity, you know, so you came in here to expose through the focus of that particular energy, you know, when it comes to the purpose you're, you know, mastering to contribute to this whole universal purpose, you see. So
okay, let's get to some Q&A, family. Somebody says, how does Sister Myra feel about collective readings?
Elective? What do you mean?
Collective, like I guess group readings. Yeah, collective.
Group readings. Of course, the more you pull energy, the bigger the spirit you create, you know. The bigger you pull that energy. The thing I did with Spirit Doula, that's where I had people come together and contribute their energy to energize, you know, Bobby Hemmett. You know, I just wanted to say, let's all collectively come together and energize, you know, some energy for Bobby Hemmett. So those are the more you combine energy, the more you pull energy, the bigger the spirit you create, you see. But as far as collective readings, yeah, I've been doing some of that as well. But you know, you just have to have a like if we're talking astrological, we still have to have like a time, and a date, to work with in order to, tap into the information. So if we can come up with a date and a time, then we can do a reading on it. So yeah, the more you pull that energy, the bigger the spirit. This is how they do their collective rituals.
The practice you are about to learn is almost never described publicly. The cave of Brahma
That's more how I would define it, collective rituals. The Super Bowls, the football games, the Olympics. This is how they get people to come together collectively and focus on what it is they want to energize to unfold for the year. I used to do the symbolism of the Super Bowl. Every year, about the literal team, it was about their symbols, you see. And then I could look up their the city, the energy of that city, and use the symbols to come up with some symbology of what energy. Like when Spirit first had me do a Super Bowl ritual or Super Bowl explanation, it was right after 9/11. It was in New Orleans. It was the New England Patriots versus the Rams. And